The rain hit the black umbrellas as my father's coffin was lowered into the ground. Everyone in New York knew Richard Beaumont. Billionaire, real estate king, media celebrity. But to me, he was just the man who ruined every room he entered. As reporters crowded outside the cemetery gates, my older brother Ethan leaned toward me and whispered, "After today, everything changes." At the time, I had no idea how right he was. That night, our family returned to the Beaumont estate. The mansion sat on a cliff overlooking the ocean. Massive glass windows, marble floors, fontaine multimillion. But despite the luxury, the house always felt cold. My stepmother Victoria immediately started talking about the inheritance. Not even 3 hours after the funeral. "Your father promised me the Hamptons property." Ethan rolled his eyes. My younger sister Claire stayed silent. And then our lawyer arrived, Mr. Holloway, carrying my father's final will. We gathered inside the library, the same room where my father controlled our lives for decades. Mr. Holloway opened the envelope slowly. Then he began reading. "To my son Ethan, I leave the company's shares." Ethan smirked. "To my wife Victoria, I leave the Hamptons estate." Victoria smiled immediately. Then came my name. "To my daughter Amelia, I leave the contents of the hidden room." The room went silent. I frowned. What hidden room? But before anyone could answer, Claire suddenly dropped her glass. Her hands were shaking. That's when I knew. She already knew something. Later that night, I found Claire sitting alone near the pool. Terrified, I asked her what was wrong. At first, she denied everything. But finally, she whispered, "Dad used to go downstairs every night." Downstairs where? Claire looked toward the library windows. "There's a hidden basement beneath the mansion." Suddenly, chills ran through my body, because I had lived there for 26 years and never knew it existed. The next morning, Mr. Holloway handed me a small silver key. Attached was a note written in my father's handwriting. "Only Amelia deserves the truth." I almost laughed. Truth? My father spent his entire life lying. But curiosity consumed me. That night, while everyone slept, I returned to the library. Behind one of the massive bookshelves, I found a hidden lock. The silver key fit perfectly. A loud click echoed through the room. Then slowly, the bookshelf moved, revealing a dark staircase descending underground. My heart pounded as I stepped down. Dust covered the walls. The air smelled old. At the bottom, I found a steel door, and behind it, everything changed. The hidden room looked like a private investigation office. Walls covered in photographs, documents, newspaper articles, security footage, all connected with red strings. But the photographs made my blood freeze. Every single one was about our family. My mother, Ethan, Claire, even me. For years, our father had secretly investigated all of us. In the corner sat dozens of VHS tapes, each labeled with dates. I inserted one into the old television. The screen flickered. Then suddenly, I saw my mother crying. The footage was 20 years old, and my father's voice shouted, "You'll never tell the children the truth." I stopped breathing, because my mother died when I was 6, and according to everyone, her death was an accident. Inside a locked drawer, I found letters addressed to me. One was from my mother. My hands trembled as I opened it. "Amelia, if you're reading this, your father lied about everything." Tears filled my eyes. Then came the sentence that destroyed me. I was trying to leave in the night I died. Suddenly, footsteps echoed upstairs. Someone else was inside the basement. I quickly hid behind a cabinet. Then Ethan entered the room. He looked furious. Not surprised. Furious. Which meant he already knew about the basement. He grabbed several files and stuffed them into a bag. Before leaving, he muttered, "Dad should have burned all of this." The next morning, I confronted Ethan. At first, he denied everything. But eventually, he snapped. "You think Dad was a victim?" He slammed his fist against the wall. "Mom didn't die in an accident." My entire body froze. Ethan stared directly into my eyes, then whispered, "Dad killed her." Years earlier, our mother discovered my father was laundering money through his company. She threatened to expose him. So my father staged her car accident. But there was worse. Much worse. Ethan revealed that our father had spent decades bribing politicians, judges, and police officers. The Beaumont fortune wasn't clean. It was built on corruption. Then Claire revealed another secret. Our father had another family in California, another wife, another son, a completely separate life. I couldn't even process it anymore. Everything we believed inside the basement, we found a hidden safe behind the wall. The code? My mother's birthday. Inside were passports, cash, and hard drives. But there was also a video labeled, "Play after my death." We watched the video together. My father appeared older, sick, terrified. Then he confessed everything. The money laundering, the affairs, the lies, and finally, our mother's death. But his final words shocked us most. Someone inside this family betrayed me first. Suddenly, Victoria entered the basement holding a gun. Her face looked completely different. Cold, emotionless. Then she smiled. Richard always thought he was the smartest person in the room. Claire started crying. Victoria pointed the gun toward Ethan. But he never realized I was stealing from him for years. Everything happened fast. Ethan lunged toward Victoria. The gun fired. The sound exploded through the basement. Claire screamed. Victoria ran upstairs, and Ethan collapsed onto the floor, blood spreading across his shirt. I grabbed the hard drives and helped Ethan upstairs. Police sirens approached the mansion. Victoria tried escaping through the front gate, but FBI agents surrounded the property. Turns out, someone had anonymously sent evidence to federal investigators weeks earlier. My father knew the end was coming. Months later, the Beaumont empire collapsed. News channels called it the largest financial scandal in New York history. Victoria was arrested. Executives disappeared. Properties were seized. But one mystery remained. Who sent the evidence to the FBI? Then one evening, Mr. Holloway visited me. He handed me a final envelope. Inside was a photograph of my mother, standing beside a man I had never seen before. On the back, my father had written, "Find your real father." I stared at the photograph for hours, because for the first time in my life, I realized something terrifying. Richard Beaumont may not have been my father at all, and somewhere out there, the truth was still waiting. Would you open the hidden room? Comment yes or no.